From the shimmering glow of early cinema comes another journey into the golden age of storytelling. Here at Quality Silent Films, we step back into a time when actors spoke through gestures, expressions, and perfectly timed chaos rather than dialogue. Tonight's film comes from the energetic comedy workshops of the 1920s, when filmmakers were discovering just how much laughter could be created without a single spoken word. Our feature was directed by McCarey, a young filmmaker who would later become one of Hollywood's most respected directors and eventually win Academy Awards for his work in sound films. Leading the comedy is Charley Chase, one of the silent era's most refined comic performers, famous for portraying well-dressed, respectable men whose carefully ordered lives collapse into wonderfully awkward disasters. The year this film appeared, 1925, was full of dramatic cultural moments. The first motel in the U.S. opened in San Luis Obispo, California. In that same year, the city of Las Vegas was officially founded. Across the Atlantic, European leaders signed the Locarno Treaties in hopes of bringing stability after the First World War. It was a world fascinated with change, and audiences eagerly escaped into movie theaters for laughter. At the center of The Uneasy 3 is a clever but fragile scheme. A group of would-be criminals believes they have found the perfect opportunity to steal a valuable jewel. Their plan? Disguise themselves as musicians and slip quietly into an elegant social gathering. But confidence without competence is always dangerous, and before long the plan begins to unravel in increasingly ridiculous ways. One of the film's most enduring ideas is the humor of pretending to belong somewhere you clearly do not. The characters try to blend into an upper-class world of manners and sophistication, yet their awkward behavior slowly gives them away. Modern audiences still recognize this situation instantly, because the fear of being exposed as an imposter is something almost everyone understands. The comedy also grows from the struggle to maintain dignity while everything falls apart. Charley Chase was a master at portraying the ordinary person trying desperately to stay composed as confusion multiplies around him. It's a style of humor that still feels surprisingly contemporary. When the film's final scene fades, stay with us. After the film we'll explore the cast, the production, and the fascinating story behind this comedy. And now, step back into 1925 and enjoy the delightful mischief of The Uneasy 3. As the final image fades and the movement on the screen settles into stillness, the Uneasy Three leaves behind the feeling of cheerful mischief. The film ends like the distant echo of laughter drifting out of an old theater, light-hearted, energetic, and full of the playful confusion that silent comedy did so well. It's easy to imagine an audience in 1925 leaning back in their seats as the lights slowly came up, smiling at the cascade of misunderstandings they had just witnessed. These short comedies were quick, lively entertainment, a clever idea, a few determined characters, and the inevitable chaos when a bold plan begins to unravel. The director behind this spirited film was Leo McCarey. Born October 3, 1898, in Los Angeles, McCarey grew up just as the motion picture industry was beginning to transform Southern California. He initially studied law at the University of Southern California, but the rapid growth of filmmaking pulled him into a different profession entirely. By the early 1920s he was working at Hal Roach Studios, where he developed a reputation for inventive comic storytelling. While directing shorts like The Uneasy Three, McCarey refined a style built around character reactions, social embarrassment, and escalating misunderstandings. These early experiments would shape his later career, which included major feature films such as The Awful Truth, winner of the Academy Award for Best Director, and Going My Way, which captured the Oscar for Best Picture. McCarey's ability to blend humor with human emotion eventually made him one of the most respected filmmakers in Hollywood. The star of the film, Charley Chase, was born Charles Joseph Parrott on October 20, 1893, in Baltimore, Maryland. He entered show business at a young age, performing in vaudeville before moving into motion pictures during the 1910s. Early in his career he worked behind the camera as well as in front of it, directing comedies and writing gags that helped shape the style of the era. When he joined Hal Roach Studios, Chase soon emerged as one of the company's most dependable leading men, starring in dozens of two-reel comedies during the 1920s. Unlike many slapstick comedians, his screen character was usually a polite, respectable man whose dignity slowly collapsed under pressure from absurd situations. Before becoming a major star, Chase had also appeared in the wild Keystone comedies produced by Mack Sennett, where he worked alongside many pioneers of screen humor. During his time at Hal Roach Studios he directed entries in the popular Our Gang series, helping shape that beloved group of child actors. Chase was also known for his musical abilities and occasionally performed songs in his later sound films. Film historians often note that his elegant style influenced later comedy performers who relied on embarrassment and social awkwardness rather than wild physical chaos. Despite his success, years of overwork and personal strain affected his health, and he died in Hollywood in 1940 at the age of 46. Today he is remembered as one of the most skillful and underrated comic actors of the silent era. The film also features Katherine Grant, a familiar presence in Hal Roach comedies of the mid-1920s. Grant frequently appeared opposite Charley Chase, often playing the romantic lead who finds herself caught in the chaos created by his misadventures. While she never achieved the same long-term fame as some of her co-stars, she became a dependable member of the Roach Studio ensemble and appeared in a number of short films during the decade. Like many performers of the silent era, her screen appearances became less frequent once sound pictures began to dominate the industry. Behind the scenes, The Uneasy Three was produced by Hal Roach and released through Path Exchange as part of the popular Charley Chase comedy series. The two-reel film runs just over 20 minutes and was released to theaters in November of 1925. Filming took place earlier that year, during a period when the Roach Studio was turning out an extraordinary number of short comedies. These productions moved quickly, but they were also creative laboratories where directors, writers, and performers tested new ideas for visual humor. Some scenes in The Uneasy Three required careful staging and timing, including moments involving mistaken identities and elaborate gags. A few miniature effects were even filmed separately, an unusual touch for a short comedy of the period. The story reflects a popular fascination of the 1920s, the idea that clever disguises might allow ordinary people to slip into glamorous worlds. In this case, a group of small-time crooks believes they have found the perfect opportunity to steal a valuable jewel by posing as musicians at an elegant social gathering. Their confidence carries them through the door. But maintaining the illusion proves far more difficult than expected. The comedy grows as suspicion rises and their carefully planned deception begins to collapse. When the film premiered in 1925, short comedies like this were an essential part of the theater experience. Audiences typically watched a newsreel, a cartoon, a comedy short, and a feature film during the same visit. Charley Chase became one of the performers who reliably delivered these bursts of laughter, and his films were popular with audiences who appreciated humor built on awkward situations rather than constant slapstick. Fortunately, the Uneasy 3 survives today when many silent comedies have disappeared. A print of the film has been preserved by the Museum of Modern Art, ensuring that modern viewers can still experience it. Thanks to film archives and historians, these lively productions continue to remind us how inventive early filmmakers could be with nothing more than a camera, a few sets, and a talented group of performers. Looking back now, the film offers more than just laughter. It shows how silent filmmakers refined the language of visual storytelling. Every anxious glance, every attempt to maintain dignity, and every perfectly timed misunderstanding adds to a tradition that still shapes comedy today. Thank you for spending time with quality silent films. We hope you enjoyed this journey into early cinema and the lively world of silent comedy. Here we present classic films along with the stories behind them. The artists, the history, and the cultural setting that brought these productions to life. Join us again for another visit to the silent screen, and if you ever plan to sneak into a fancy party disguised as a musician, it might help to learn at least one song first.